Inter, the league leaders in Serie A, with a 2-1 win. Not many teams go to the Allianz Arena and beat Bayern Munich in the Champions League, but they were able to do so even after Bayern equalised late on through Thomas Müller. Inter still found a winner. What did you make of this tie? Was it the right result in the end? And can Bayern turn this around?
Look, I mean, Bayern were the better team. We often talk about Harry Kane, and certainly I've been on record here. Even last time we chatted, right? I think over the weekend or last week, saying as I'm going to remember Harry Kane as the one of the top number 9s in history. Really, I mean, he's that good. But he's going to remember that miss when he hit the post, right? I mean, perfect setup. This is a sort of goal that Harry Kane scores 9 out of 10. I want to say 10 out of 10, but that wouldn't be true, right? So it's I think he scores that. If you remember, Olise had a couple of times from that left hand coming on his left foot from the right hand side. One saved and one just missing by millimeters, really, the far post. Certainly they had their chances, but this is Inter. I mean, Inter doesn't care how they play. Their fans don't care how they play, right? I mean, if they're pragmatic, that's okay. We've seen what they did a couple of years ago, losing in the final where they didn't have to lose it. They were just as good, if not better at times, than Manchester City. And this is a team at the top of Serie A right now that knew exactly how to approach that team. They had to ride their luck just a little bit. All teams do that at this level of this kind of competition. And their 2 goals were spectacular. I want to say the same because they all started with Sommer. One was a little bit different because it was a long ball on the first one. Second one, 3-4 touches, excellent finishes. That second, absolutely spectacular because, I mean, when you have the story, Thomas Müller coming in, tying, and a couple minutes later, just in the end, you get a second goal. That's a bonus, right? They don't need much. We all know about their defense, Mark. 3 goals conceded. Absolutely excellent and favorites to win it right now in this tie.
3 minutes, 15 seconds between Bayern equalising and Inter scoring the winning goal. This stat kind of intrigued me about Bayern Munich. When playing the first leg of a knockout tie at home in the Champions League and not winning the last 8 times they've been knocked out, you have to go back to 1995 against Gothenburg when they didn't win at home, but they managed to get through to the next round. How does their approach now change for going away to the San Siro, the Giuseppe Meazza? And also, how does Inter's approach change? Because I'm sure they would have taken a draw going into the second leg, but now they have a lead to try and protect. So what did Bayern do and what did Inter do for this second leg?
It's if I had to guess, it's going to be the same as in the first leg. Bayern Munich is going to have possession, even away. Inter are, obviously they have an advantage, but they know that they're not a possession team like Bayern Munich are, right? So the transition, as I've mentioned, tactically Inter is nearly perfect. And you have to remember, even though Bayern Munich will probably get a player or two, but the biggest thing that Inter did over there that they wanted without 2 of the key players, right? And that Denzel Dumfries and that's DiMarco. Because when you play a 3-5-2 system anywhere, but in particular for Simone Inzaghi, the white players are so important. And even though Carlos Augusto did very well, obviously he was involved in both goals to some degree, right? To a large degree, I should say, not just some. Darmian defensively away from home did his job, that's for sure, but he's not Denzel Dumfries. I don't know if Dumfries is going to be back. As we saw, DiMarco was on the bench, didn't come in, but I have to imagine that he's going to be involved. That's a big advantage for Inter, who is going to sit back just a little bit, but that transition, especially on the left-hand side, is going to be a little bit different. For Bayern, those chances, 1 or 2 or 3 chances, they're going to have to take advantage of them and probably do it early to put Inter under pressure just a little bit, right? I mean, I imagine if Bayern Munich score first, then we're going to have a great tie. I think if Inter does, then it's, door shut. They're not going to allow much more if they get a 3-1 advantage in this one. So all to do for Bayern Munich, who themselves, a little bit like Real Madrid. I mean, they're top of the Bundesliga, but they're certainly not at their best. And, they are missing significant number of key players. That is for sure. But, at this stage, I don't think we're going to cry for them, right? Because there are many teams around Europe and around the world that have to deal with that.
Yeah, first time they've lost at home in the Champions League since April 2021. You look at the two ties and you think, oh, the away teams won in Germany, so they'll go through, and the home teams won 3-0, so they'll go through. But it wouldn't be, look, it would be a surprise, but it wouldn't be the biggest surprise football has ever seen if we had one or both, possibly two of the teams that go through, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. I just think before we move on to today's action, it's two ties whereby Real Madrid will have no pressure on them apart from their own pressure, because most people think they're out, as will Bayern, and they could be quite dangerous, both ties. Prediction for this one: who goes through, Bayern or Inter?
I very rarely have gone against Bayern Munich. Every time I did, I was wrong. I got to feel, it could be because this tie is so close. We all said it, right? But I'm going to go with Inter. I just, I can't look past Simeone, the way he can set this team up, and with an advantage that they have, it'd be hard pressed to tell me that this Bayern Munich defense, which has been poor throughout the season, is not going to concede a goal here. I have to go with Inter on this one.
And Simone Inzaghi kind of got under the radar. A lot of people in the know really like what he's doing, but whether or not he's getting the praise that he deserves for what he's doing, and if he can knock out Bayern, then his stock will certainly raise a lot higher than it is right now.